All right, let's talk Amazon. They just dropped their latest financial reports, and these things are dense. They're full of jargon, and honestly, they're a bit of a slog to get through. But don't worry, I did the homework so you don't have to. We're going to break down exactly what a smart person needs to know about one of the biggest companies on the planet.
I mean, think about it. You use it all the time, right? You click Buy Now, a package magically shows up. You stream a movie on Prime Video. It feels so simple on our end. But the actual business behind that click, oh, it is a fascinating, sprawling giant. And really getting it tells you so much about where tech and retail, and yeah, even the internet itself, are all headed.
So, first things first, let's pop the hood and just look at the numbers. Let's forget about the stock price for a minute. How is the actual core business performing? Are things healthy? Well, let's just start right at the top. For the full year 2025, Amazon brought in nearly $717 billion in revenue. Just let that number sink in. It's an absolutely staggering amount of money. It's almost hard to wrap your head around. But the real question is, where does all that cash actually come from? Okay, so this is where it gets really interesting. When you break that giant number down, you see what you'd expect, mostly. The bulk of it, over 80% when you add it up, comes from the business you and I know, retail. The boxes showing up at our doors in North America and around the world. But look at that third slice, Amazon Web Services, at just 18%. Now, it might look like the smallest piece of the pie, but trust me, it is the most important part of this whole story. Here's the best way to think about it. Imagine a giant department store. The retail side of Amazon is that massive, busy main floor. It's packed, it gets all the attention, all the foot traffic, and it generates huge sales numbers. But the real profit, the actual engine that keeps the lights on and funds everything else, that's tucked away upstairs in a division most customers never even know exists. And that engine, that's Amazon Web Services, or AWS. If you've ever wondered what the cloud really is, well, this is pretty much it. Instead of buying their own expensive servers, companies like Netflix or Airbnb can just rent computing power and data storage from Amazon. It's this hidden utility that quietly powers a huge chunk of the internet you use every single day. And this slide right here, this is the whole story in one picture. As we saw, AWS only brings in about 18% of the sales. But look at this. It's responsible for 57% of the company's entire operating profit. That's right, more than half of all the profit Amazon makes comes from this one high-margin tech division. So while you're busy buying books and batteries, Amazon is making most of its real money selling computing power to other businesses. And get this, it isn't slowing down. In fact, it's speeding up. The CEO himself, Andy Jassy, pointed out that AWS growth is accelerating. It just posted its fastest growth rate in over 3 years. So this isn't some side hustle. It is the absolute core of the company's financial strength and its entire future. Okay, so with all that profit pouring in from AWS, where is Amazon placing its bets for the future? Well, the answer couldn't be clearer. They are making a massive all-in wager on artificial intelligence. The company is planning to spend $200 billion on capital investments in 2026. Just think about that number for a second. $200 billion. And the vast majority of that money is going straight into building out the infrastructure for AWS, specifically to handle the absolutely insane demand they see coming for AI. And this is the key to their entire strategy. See, they aren't just trying to build one cool AI app or their own chatbot. No, they are trying to build the fundamental infrastructure, the digital roads, the power plants, the plumbing, that every other company is going to need to run their AI. They want to be the landlord for the entire AI economy. So how are they going to do it? Well, you can kind of break their game plan into 3 main layers. First, they're giving other companies easy access to all the top AI models through a service called Bedrock. Second, to make it all cheaper and more efficient, they're building their own custom AI chips like Trainium. And third, they're building their own AI tools or agents to show everyone what's possible on their platform. It's a complete top-to-bottom approach. But of course, it's not all sunshine and rocket ships. A company this big has equally massive challenges. So what are the official worries? What are the things that Amazon legally has to tell its investors might go wrong? What keeps the leadership team up at night? So this is a page from their official filing with the government in a section called Risk Factors. And as you can see, it's just a wall of dense legal text. You get sentences like,
Our business is affected by seasonality, which historically has resulted in higher sales volume during our fourth quarter, which, is a very fancy way of saying they worry about Christmas. So let's translate the rest of this into plain English.
Here's what it all boils down to. They worry about intense competition, and not just from Walmart, but from Microsoft and Google in the cloud space. They worry about economic slowdowns that might make you and me spend a little less. They worry about that classic retail problem, ordering way too much or way too little for the holidays. And of course, just the sheer challenge of managing a global logistics and data empire is a huge risk, right along with keeping all of that customer data safe. Okay, we have covered a lot of ground here. The money, the profit engine, that huge AI bet, and the risks. So let's pull it all together. What are the key things you should really walk away with from all this? It really comes down to three things. First, just remember that Amazon is really two different companies living under one roof. A massive, low-margin retail store and an incredibly profitable tech utility called AWS. Second, their entire plan for future growth is that $200 billion bet on becoming the essential foundation for the AI revolution. And third, despite all the futuristic tech, its biggest worries are pretty timeless: tough competition and the health of the economy. Here's the new lens I want you to have. From now on, whenever you hear a business headline about some company moving to the cloud or launching a new AI initiative, you'll know what that really means. It means there is a very, very good chance they're about to start writing some very large checks to Amazon. They're paying rent to live on the foundation that AWS built. So that's really the bottom line. Amazon is using its super profitable cloud business to pour billions and billions of dollars into building the ground floor for the next era of technology. It's a bold, incredibly expensive bet to become the essential utility provider for artificial intelligence. And the only question left is the big one. Will it pay off? We don't know yet, but now you know exactly what to watch for.